We are deeply saddened to announce the passing of our beloved Christopher Edward, better known as Linus, Dab Dab and Shortman of Bishop's Gap and Toulouse Marshall. He passed on Friday 16 December 2022 at the OKEU Hospital. He was 54 years old and was an employee of Sanders the Talk. Christopher was predeceased by his mother, Anne Edward Joseph, better known as Miss Anne, Mildred, and Auntie. His stepfather, Felix Joseph, better known as Tisson. Left to mourn are his daughter, Crystal Edward of Toulouse, granddaughter Harmony Hippolyte of Toulouse. Brothers: Dennis Conrad Edward, better known as DC of Cowley, Hilary Moore of Goodlands, Alan Moore and Cyrus Moore and their family of Goodlands, Timothy Joseph of Cicero. Sisters: Josette Beverly Edward Charlemagne of Montsepa, Carol Laudette and family of St. Croix, Albertha Moore and Sandra Moore and their family of Goodlands, Susanna Edward and family of Cooleytown, Emily Tew Joseph and Morella Joseph and their family of Cicero. Nephews: Jonathan and Kevin Edward of Bishop's Gap, Dane Edward of Carolee, Tyrese Nigel Roach residing in Florida. Nieces: Destiny Edward of Carolee, Dana Edward of Grosley. Uncles: Marius Edward and family of Bexon, Moses Edwin and family of Bacatow, Peter Edwin and family residing in Barbados, Anthony Edwin and family of Chabot. Aunts: Feliciana Melvin, better known as Eluna and family of Kaimajé, Rufina Seeley, better known as Frances, and family residing in Baytown, Texas, Robertina Edwin Archibald and family residing in St. Kitts and Nevis, Thora Edwin and family residing in the U.S. Brother-in-law: Ainsworth Charlemagne of Montsepa. Adopted son: Kurtwan Ramo, better known as Ketchup, of George Charles Boulevard. Also left to mourn children of his deceased aunts: Christiana Dupre, who was known as Christmas of Bexon, Marlena Joseph, who was known as Tisset of Bexon. Children of his deceased uncles: Joseph Edward, who was known as Sonny Boy of Cooleytown, Antoine Edward, who was known as Orleans of Cooleytown. Also left to mourn management and staff of Sanders to the Talk. Best friends: Vivian Bernard Tiemann, better known as Leroy of Corinth, Dexter Jovis of Castries. Special friends: Sharon Fannis of Marcel, Marcia Wenceslas of Lac-Wamingo, Risa Ramsey of George Charles Boulevard, Jessica Leos of Menard Hill, Davidson Johnson, better known as Kojak, of Toulouse, MacArthur Edward of Toulouse, Aneka, better known as Smalley of Toulouse, Dorothy and Esther Steele of Toulouse. Other relatives: Marie Butcher residing in the U.S., the Benjamin families of Desrameaux and Rivière-Métal, Philip families of Rivière-Métal and Desrameaux, Butcher family of Roselle. Also left to mourn are the relatives and friends, too numerous to mention. The celebration of the life of the late Christopher Edward, better known as Dab Dab, Linus, and Shortman, will be held at the Minor Basilica of the Immaculate Conception on Monday, 9th January 2023 from 9:30 a.m. His body will be laid to rest at the Shock Cemetery. The family wishes to thank all for the outpouring of support but wish to mourn in private after the funeral. We thank you for your understanding. Christopher's body is in the professional care of Crick's Funeral Home Limited, Vidbourne. May he continue to rest in God's embrace.